So we received this comment from one of our recent rifle performance videos where we talk about effectively mounting the rifle to our shoulder, what we're doing with our support hand, and kind of everything that goes into that. And we wanted to do this video anyway, but this comment kind of expedited that process. So today I'm going to throw on the kit and show you how we're running the rifle, and then also considerations for getting the pistol out of the holster, how that changes when we're wearing more gear, and how we can perform with both weapon systems so that we're not hindering our abilities even though we got more stuff on. So with that, let's throw the kit on and show you what key principles we're trying to focus on downrange. Now that we have the kit on, let's break down some of the differences if we were to wear kit versus if we were just slicked down. So from the video, the rifle mount video that I did, we really focused on two different methods in which we would mount the rifle. With the non-negotiable being like we want to completely encompass the entire stock in our shoulder. We don't want to have like a third of it into our shoulder and then there's a pivoting point. That's going to give up a little bit of performance that we want to make up for. So a couple of the options we were talking about was center line, directly kind of underneath my chin. You see the problem with that is I'm running into hard plates and I might not have as stable of a platform, but we're going to play with that today. And my preferred method, coming into the shoulder pocket like I was talking about in the video, because it allows for it to transfer from being slick and also when we're wearing kit. I don't have that impeding on my ability to get this completely shouldered, right? This stock completely shouldered. So talking about the rifle, how do we gauge performance? Stealing some stuff from USPSA shooters, shooting predictively, shooting in shot patterns of doubles. And in my case, I like to shoot a lot of 3s and 4s as well, and even bill drills just to kind of complement what we're doing with doubles. But like we did in that video, I'm gonna shoot from 15 yards, shoot doubles on an A-zone target. 15 yards tends to be the starting point of where doubles with a rifle get difficult. And then as we back up, obviously that difficulty increases. So I like to encourage students to come out, shoot an A-zone size target, shooting doubles. 15 yards is a good starting point. 10 yards is good too, but you really shouldn't miss from 10 yards if we're talking about the A-zone. But if we can get those shots at 10 yards tight, that's still obviously complementing what we're trying to do when we're diagnosing our mount. So to start, I'm gonna shoot doubles. I'm gonna shoot a string of 6 total rounds, 2, 2, and 2, shooting from that center line position with my plates taking the blunt of the recoil there. And then I'm gonna shoot a string of 6, 2, 2, and 2 from the shoulder pocket, and let's see where the differences lie. So we got a little bit more cleaned up towards the end there, but I felt like that recoil was really rising, especially as it's hitting that pivoting point right where my plates meet the bottom of the stock. It's really hard for me to get my shoulder into the stock. And so this thing is rising rapidly high left. So we're gonna see that when we go down range. Now, if I go shoulder pocket, locking on the A of the A zone, same thing. And let's go compare the differences. Those were all tight, all within that A zone, but let's go down and check the hits. These are all from shooting center line, and I'm not doing this like just to prove a point. Like, this is what I was running into, and I know this because I've shot with this plate carrier plenty of times in the past, and I know what works for me personally and what doesn't. And we had all tight groups when I shot from the shoulder pocket. And that's kind of why I talked about personal preference from that rifle performance video was I prefer shoulder pocket. Here's why. I see what the dot's doing within the glass, and when it's a lot less drastic and I can stay controlled within this tighter group, that's what I prefer, obviously. So it's up to you to get out in kit and try it out. And ultimately, really gauging on how we can maximize performance. Shooting doubles is a really good way to get that conversation started, and then see not only what the hits are down range, but also worrying about the process. What's happening in the glass? Is that dot staying relatively still after that recoil is going, right? That's what we need to ask ourselves when we're shooting these drills. So let's talk about different kit that is out on the market that may hinder or improve your abilities to control the rifle. If you're shopping for gear, I want to make sure that I'm able to find that shoulder pocket, get that stock in there, because that's my preferred method of shooting a rifle. And I want to make sure that that doesn't hinder my abilities. Now, there are complaints on this like Shellback Banshee 3.0 on the internet because of the buckles here. But I also think that's also a problem with shooters placing the stock right where the shoulder strap is. Regardless of what carrier system you're using, that shoulder strap is going to get in the way, and it's not where I typically want to place my buttstock of my rifle. Same with centerline here. I could run this carrier a lot lower, and then I could even place the stock above the carrier, but then I'm not utilizing the plates effectively, because typically I want to have it from belly button to right at the top of my upper thoracic, so I'm covering all vital organs. Making sure that we're wearing our kit appropriately, but also allowing ourselves to be able to shoot effectively is ultimately what we're trying to answer. So if we know that's the answer, we can walk that process back and ultimately answer what type of carrier is best for me, and how should I be running this stock if my context requires me to wear a carrier, making sure that I'm practicing even without the carrier in the same manner, so I have that consistency when I have kit on versus when I have it off. Now, along with shooting performance, I also want to make sure that I'm able to manipulate this rifle within this kit, and this is going to be something that you're going to have to practice at home. So whether I'm working from a high ready, high port, whatever you call it, Ranger ready over the top of the shoulder, or I'm at a low ready, I want to stage that directly where I'm ultimately going to raise up and find that dot and make sure that I'm encompassing that stock fully in my shoulder, making sure that I'm not getting caught on my kit. For me, one of the main issues is my bang pouch here. There are times that if I run with the arm underneath, and let's say I go to raise it now, I do run into problems where I catch on that. So I need to be aware of that. It's something that I'll even grab my sling, and if I'm just in a safe area where I don't need to utilize my rifle or have it at the ready, I can just kind of pull it up and then swim underneath. Wearing it like a necklace, I can tighten it down, making sure I'm not getting caught on anything. But there are going to be things that are on your kit, maybe you have too much stuff on, that are going to impede your ability to manipulate this rifle. So understanding how my stock works, understanding how I can get this into a high ready if need be, so I can manipulate doors and do any type of administrative work, move people to the side, come up to the high ready, back into low ready, shoulder pocket where I want it, and then ultimately being able to raise up if I need to. You got to play with that in your kit, and that's going to kind of bring us over into considerations with the pistol. Since performance is the name of the game, switching over to the pistol, how can we maintain performance even when we're wearing all of this gear? First and foremost, I want to make sure that my dominant side, in this case my right side, is completely slick. I don't want anything in the way of my draw. In an emergency, I drop that rifle, I need to make sure I get to that pistol. I want to make sure I can do that as efficiently as I could without this stuff on, right? Nothing changes with my draw with kit or without. It's just simply the manner in which I prevent anything from getting in the way, and then I still marry that support hand up, get an effective grip, and obviously present downrange. Keep your dominant side slick. Shouldn't be anything over here impeding your ability to get to the pistol. Can't tell you how many times I've seen guys set up their gear where they're set up like a Ninja Turtle. Stuff is just everywhere, and we aren't able to do our job effectively because the rifle's getting hung up, or I can't even draw the pistol even if I wanted to. So make sure you're addressing that issue with your own gear. The other thing to consider when we're maximizing performance with the pistol in kit is that there's nothing impeding my ability to just get my hands out in front of me. So right here, these straps, the plate that I'm wearing, all of the extra equipment is not in my way to just simply collect the gun with my dominant hand, present up with the support hand, and fire the gun. Nothing is affecting ultimately how I would shoot the gun without kit versus with kit. So nothing changes there. Given that, I'm able to present up the same way I always would, and I'm not, flexing my arms out. I don't have the straps pushing into, the sides of my armpits or anything like that. But there are certainly carriers that would. There's also full-size plates that would affect that as well. So you want to make sure you get the kit that fits you, not only from the carrier, but also the plates. So for context, I wear Dayton Armor plates. They're a sponsor of ours. And I wear the Sappy cut plates. So a traditional 10x12, which is the industry standard size, 10x12 Sappy cut plate. I don't feel the need to get a swimmer's cut because I don't feel like my ability to get the gun out is impeded in any way, shape, or form. I'm able to extend my arms out without the kit getting in my way. So why not take the extra coverage? So making sure that when we're assessing at home, we're fitting this accordingly to our body shape and size and all that, making sure that this is not getting in our way, but still doing its job, protecting us from rounds. All right, at the end of the day, if your context requires you to wear body armor, or you are looking to practice with body armor at home, make sure that you're getting out to the range, validating some of these ultimately concerns that we need to address. We want to maximize performance. That is our goal. Do we make mistakes? Of course. But making sure that we are mounting that rifle effectively into our shoulder, making sure that our gear is not impeding our ability to get the pistol out of the holster, so we can put all of that together regardless if we're wearing this or not. Nothing should change when we're going between the two. So with that, if you guys saw value in today's video, make sure you give us a like. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. And if you have any thoughts of your own, make sure you comment down below. The comment section has been awesome lately. You guys are great. Keep commenting. Let's get the conversation started, and we'll see you on the next video.